Hello there, Dr. Sheep. Welcome back to TGIF Talks, episode 179. I'm your host, Dr. Sheep, joined by my co-host, then the return of Anonymous Phil.
Is that my cue?
That's always been your cue.
Right.
And
I'm
then,
here.
I'd say it's the return of Will, but Will was on last week. But we have Will again. Are we? No, we're recording.
Hello?
Okay. Sorry, no,
Yeah.
I got a weird warning and then...
All right. Yeah.
No. Sorry, I got a weird warning, and I didn't know what was going on. Okay, let's roll the intro here, and then get things going.
Is that a wiener?
Oh man, I wish you could hear that. I have it. I have the sound, but you can't hear it. It's the dumbest thing. Because Discord doesn't let you have two audio inputs. So, is that a wiener?
Play it over the speakers, over the microphone.
It does play over. You still can't hear it.
Oh.
Where is it? Drum roll, everyone. Next kill I need. I thought this was in
You look like
alphabetical
Iron Man,
order,
man.
but I'm beginning to think it's not in alphabetical order.
You look like Iron Man now.
There's that one. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
You're fired. Quiet, but yeah.
We have the meat.
Was it a wiener?
Oh, it's was that a wiener, not is that a wiener. That's why you can't. That's why I couldn't find it.
Was it a wiener?
Starts with the W.
Yeah, instead of an I.
Yeah, sometimes I spell wiener with starting with an I.
No, not wiener. Just no, because it's labeled as the verb, and then that wiener.
I always get my I's and W's confused too.
Anyways, hello. How has everyone been doing?
Fine. Had better.
11.
You've had better. What this? Well, who wants to start? You two haven't talked in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit of beef between us, but we'll get through it.
There's a little bit of what? Hello?
Hello?
I asked there's a little bit of what, and then you just didn't say anything.
Oh. I thought we'll just leave it at that.
What? No!
He said there's a little bit of beef between us.
I had a feeling that's what he said, but I wanted him to clarify. But, asking him to clarify is like asking telling somebody like, hey, I need you to look through this piece of plywood. Can you make it clear? No. It's a piece of plywood. Am I not wrong?
No, you're
No.
All
No,
right.
you are wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will try better, I guess.
I'll try to forgive you, but I can't make any promises.
I know you can't, but I had a feeling that was going to happen. So, well, I guess, why don't you try and, I don't know, catch up. Tell the other what you're doing. We'll start.
No, I'm still breathing, metabolizing oxygen like always.
Same here.
God,
Nothing new.
you
Nothing new,
bastards.
yeah.
You bastards.
About 70 podcasts older. Not
Yeah.
much wiser, just older.
Just older? 79 podcasts older.
I graduated high school.
Yeah, see, he's...
Graduated vet school?
High
You say
school.
vet school?
High
High
school.
High school. Oh, high school.
Yeah.
No, Will exceeded everybody. He graduated high school, went and got his undergrad, and then went and got his doctorate.
Yes.
All in the span of 79 podcasts. It's a world record.
World record. Yeah, what's your friend doing? Or
Rooster still has another year.
I forget his actual name.
I can edit, but it's Rooster.
He's the vet, right?
What?
Rooster?
Yes.
Is he was the one that was the vet, right?
Well, actually, they were all trying to be vets.
Oh. Has any of them succeeded?
Rooster's a year away. AK's 2 years. And then Rondo, he didn't get into vet school, so he's just getting a master's. He may get a doctorate.
Master's in like what, animal science or something?
Wildlife, wildlife management, I'm pretty sure. Type thing.
I see.
Big game. He studies deer and their effect, and chronic wasting disease. It's a prion disease. Isn't that fun?
That's what's been killing them all lately.
Well, there isn't a lot of... I mean, it's spread to Nebraska, but it's not as bad as it is up at, like, North Dakota and Minnesota. It might just still be the regular disease they had before. It is... I mean, chronic wasting disease does show up after a drought. And, like, because it gets stirred on by the fact that the system's stressed and that the animals are stressed and shocked. So if it's a particular tough winter or a particular dry summer, and in this case a dry summer, dry winter, there is a chance, yes, there will be more chronic wasting disease. That appears
on their head. It's psychological development.
No, it isn't. I mean, it does have neurological symptoms, but it's not a psychological thing. They're prions, they're misfolded proteins that exist in the environment that the deer are more susceptible to when they're stressed. So his team's studying the genes and I think looking for resistance or genes that make them more susceptible, That kind of thing. He's talked about it on the podcast. If you ever watch a podcast with him, he talks about his research. Not that either of you would watch, but,
No.
for the rest of the people watching.
No.
What?
Do people actually watch?
Yes, we do get views. It's specifically on Rondo's on. We get.
You said you get views. That's more or less like clicks. What does it tell you how many people have watched it all the way through?
I don't think anybody actually watches all the way through, but people do watch. I never actually pay attention to the analytics on this channel.
That would be interesting if it tells you not only like average watch time, but how many people. What is the average number of audience that actually watches it the whole way through?
It does tell you.
I bet that numbers are flat and zero.
It can tell you that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me.
Retention time.
Let's pull up YouTube here.
Well, no, but retention time could be, misled by the averages, right? Because isn't it averaging all the numbers? I mean, sure, if it's 100%, then but like.
Well, here's my latest video. So we go to the analytics. We go to we want watch time, see more. I think I want retention time. That used to be its whole own thing. But I don't remember. Here we go, retention time. So obviously I have an outro, so 8%, 10% make it to the outro. 5% watch all the way through.
Really?
I mean, you can see the screen.
No, my phone's in my pocket.
Oh, at least on my latest full-length video. So.
Interesting. The amount of people that watch the first minute and say, I'm tired of this. It's funny.
That's usual. Yeah.
Oh, that's enough internet for the day.
Yeah.
60% leave after 28 seconds, but like that's pretty. I mean, that's better than the normal channel average, but that's normal for.
Yeah, usually when I come across your thumbnail, I'm like, well, I've clicked on enough videos for the day. Closing up shop.
Usually, I personally don't click on a video unless I plan on watching it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, people they click, they watch the first 30. People really. It's weird what people decide to. Let's look at this one.
Rods from God.
This one's this one's pretty
That
good.
was an interesting one.
Yeah,
That's an interesting.
but less people watched it all the way through.
It's an interesting concept, I'll put it that way.
Interesting what?
Concept.
Oh, yeah. But this one had a lot more people watching. 72% of the people were still watching after 72 seconds. So, after 30 seconds, 72% of people were still watching. So, this one performed. This one got
Their
less
parents
views.
probably called them away before they could click off the video.
What?
I said their parents probably called them away before they could click off the video.
Oh, for the people that went all the way through?
Yeah. They're probably like, hey, do you finish the chores? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, this one had less people watching all the way to the end. Now, granted, it was a longer video, so maybe that's why. But it didn't get as many views. It's weird. So it had better retention time at the beginning, but worse overall viewership and retention time at the end. But like I said, it's a 30-minute video. So as where this one is a 23-minute video. And then there's the pinhole solar eclipse viewer. Oops, we want analytics, not that. This one after we lose 30. We had 36% of viewers after 30 seconds, which is below typical compared to my other videos. And it's pretty spiky, but only 100 people watch this video. But to be honest, this video is subpar compared to this one, compared to the radiation box and rods from God. So, but now you understand. So,
Sure do.
what?
I sure do.
So, we'll see what the next video is. I have all the clips recorded. I just need to edit them. That's tomorrow's job. Tomorrow is...
Get tomorrow off?
What?
You get tomorrow off?
Of course, it's Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Do you have tomorrow off?
I do.
Will, do you have tomorrow off? Because I actually, I know you do. The dealership's closed tomorrow.
Yep.
Because, if we go to the other news... So, there was... So, when I showed up yesterday to test drive vehicles, there was... Because I was going to test drive an Escape, and he's like, hey, I found an edge that meets your criteria. And I'm like, do tell. It was a 2016, 52,000 miles.
Okay.
It's the 2-liter, all-wheel drive. It is black. I would prefer white or gray, but that is like my 4th preferred color, so I'll take it.
Final price?
So, and then it's... Well, I don't know what the final price is yet, because they did say they're going to give me a discount because Will works there. So I have to ask him about that. But I was like, look, it was 18.5 right now. Before everything. And I was like, I called Dad this morning. I'm like, I was looking around. There aren't a lot of edge. For one thing, there's not a lot of edges. And 2, there's that meet my criteria. And the ones that are in the price range in years, they're cheaper, but that's because they have 80,000 miles on them or more. You know, they have so
My car
many...
had 80,000. My car has 80,000 miles.
Yeah.
Actually, technically 79, but
But yours
Not
is
that
also 2 years newer.
It's not that bad though.
No, I
Wait,
asked
yours is
my.
a
No, I was talking. Well, it was the weird thing, right? My dad was like, "Oh, it's a 2016. That's already kind of old," and I'm like, "But you said miles are the big thing, not the age." And he got quiet after that because I regurgitated what he told me the other day, and I was just like, "Can you go look at it Tuesday, and test drive it, see what you think?" Because I think I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good buy.
I think that's gonna be my new vehicle, and then I'm going
I'm
to.
glad I
Huh?
help you out with that.
What'd you say?
But I'm glad I could help you out with that.
Absolutely. So I did drive an Escape though. Now, granted, I drove the 21, so it had a turbo. That thing was fun.
Yeah, they are fun. And the turbo makes a lot of noises.
I guess I didn't have the windows down, so I didn't. Well, I did have the window down, but not when I was accelerating. The one thing I did like about it is that they structured the door a bit better, and so you can actually reasonably comfortably rest your elbow on the windowsill. New vehicles,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they're just not structured that way. Part of it is they have smaller steering wheels, which is just the worst. Like, I hate new cars because like they just feel they make you feel cramped and they make you feel tired because you have to hold your arms out like this, really close. When on my current vehicle they're out like this, which is so much more natural. So, I thought about swapping the steering wheel and finding an aftermarket bigger one. Slight issue. So this is the titanium trim. So it's like the really expensive one. It's an SEL, so it's not the most expensive trim you could get, but it is one of the more expensive ones. And it has paddle shifters on this edge.
Wait, it's not a man. It's not a.
Oh no,
automatic?
it's automatic, but you can tell it what gear to go in if you want to,
Oh,
and tell it when to shift if you want to. If you're not liking what the decisions the computer's making, which is convenient, I guess. Because you're going if like out in the sandhills, if we're going up a big hill and it wants to stay in the higher gear, we can downshift.
Yeah, kind of.
yeah.
Not that it would do that, but I'm not quite sure what we figured it out because I was like, oh, because I was in cruise control. We're going down the highway, and I'm like, what the heck are these buttons doing? He's like, maybe the volume, and I'm like, so I turned the radio on. I'm like, no, it doesn't seem to be doing that. And I went, oh, that's the gear shift, because I saw this 5 and 6 flash between each other. So I'm like, oh, don't do that again. It didn't. The thing was, it didn't like even react. Like the RPMs didn't even change at all. So I was just like, oh, okay. So, anyways, no, I'm currently selling my vehicle, so I printed off some for sale signs, and it's currently on it in the parking lot of the apartment complex.
Yeah.
Dad said to
What do you
try.
think you can get out of it?
So Kelly Blue Book says at the most 39,
Okay.
but I'm gonna try and get. I've got it priced at 4.5 because Dad says these little trucks like that are in hot demand, and even if somebody doesn't want to pay 4.5, you might be able to still get at least 4 out of them. Or maybe no, there's room to negotiate. I wanted to price it at 5, but he says that might scare too many people away.
Although they're going to go into this and have to spend $1,000. Keep it going 10,000 miles.
What?
Oh, I said although they're going to go in it and have to spend another $1,000 to keep it going another 10,000 miles.
Shh! Don't tell them that.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, and then Dad was like, "Don't tell them anything they don't need to know." I'm like, "Okay, so ignore all of its problems." I did want to mention to them though that the Well, the real problem is all of its issues, excluding one of them, are easily noticeable. Like, you can hear the brakes squeak. You can hear the friggin' frame squeak. You can kind of start to hear the ball bearings, the ball joints squeak. And when you start it up, it doesn't exactly like to idle. It will eventually idle nicely, but it goes, it's weird. The only problem that they wouldn't notice is the gas gauge. It's a little jank. You have to track it with miles. You can't track it with the gas gauge because the gas gauge is not reliable. He said, just tell him that if it gets to quarter tank, to fill up. Which is fine. In the winter, yeah, do that in the winter. But in the summer, yeah, you're leaving a lot of performance. You're leaving a lot of performance still on the table. You can keep going further. Problem is, once you get below that, it becomes a crapshoot of how much fuel you actually have. Because one day, I went and I'm like, it was finally, the light hadn't even turned on yet. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I put 22 gallons in. It's a 23 gallon tank. I'm like, oh, I should, it would have left me on the highway.
But you can see how many miles you've driven between trips, right?
I keep track with the odometer.
So did you notice that it was high?
Oh yeah, I knew it was high, but it was also the summer gas was in.
Oh.
I went 100 extra miles further than I normally would.
Yeah.
Granted, I also burned 3 more gallons more than I normally would. So, realistically, I only went an extra 50 to 60 miles further than I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still such a crazy improvement over the other thing. So, no, yeah, I will hopefully be the proud owner of an Edge. We will see. I don't think we're going to take it on this. We're not going to take it on this trip. I want to, I want to break. I want to drive it for a few months, before I take it someplace big.
Like drive it 1 month and then take it on a trip.
Yeah, well, it's going to go to North Dakota with me, so it'll have at least 2 months before I take it before it goes any place huge. I'd be fine driving it to Mullen if we decide if there's a weekend that we go or whatever.
Yeah.
It won't be so the mileage is better than my truck, but definitely worse than your car.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's a truck.
It's not a truck. It's a
SUV.
It's a mid-range SUV.
It's a what?
It's a mid-range SUV.
Mid-range SUV.
So the big SUVs are so in order of size of SUVs.
Wait, is it? How do you compare it to the vehicle we took to Arkansas?
It might be a little bigger than that one.
I would have thought it would have got high 20s.
On highway, it gets high 20s.
Really?
Mid to high 20s. In city, it's only 20.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's a 2016?
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have had better gas mileage than that.
If you got the Escape, you would get better mileage.
Yeah,
but you have less room. This is not it's the thing that so you get like 3 extra inches of depth of if this is the car, right? My phone's the car. And this is the length and the width. You get 3 extra inches here, but you do get, I don't know how many more inches this way, but you definitely get definitely a few more. So you get probably a few cubic feet of extra space, And once you fold down once you fold down basically you're doing that in exchange for spending a bit more money and less and worse gas mileage.
Yeah.
But I will say though, you were asked like it's a 2016. I think Will can vouch for me on this. After 2016, the gas mileage in vehicles starts to really improve.
Yeah.
I don't know what that because I know there was an EPA push to like by 2025 average miles to the gallon of all vehicles needs to be 25 miles to the gallon. That was a big rule.
Are they gonna do it?
I'm pretty. They changed the rule, not because they weren't going to hit it, but because they wanted to make it more strict, and so now it's something else. I don't know. I think now it's more focused on just getting EVs on the road.
And it's trucks too, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think so because the F-150s are not close to getting 25 miles to the gallon. So.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
No, I don't think it includes trucks, which is the most popular vehicle on the road in America. So I really don't know. The law was not very good. It's not a law; it's a rule that the EPA came up with. Was not very good. But, anyways, no. But
well,
whatever.
Follow the rule.
What?
You don't have to follow the rule.
Well, no, you do. It's a regulation. It's not a law. It's just so how it works is. Congress outlined a framework for how the EPA can operate, right? It is then up to the EPA and the president to decide how will the EPA work within this framework. And so Congress says, here are your powers, do what you can, and the EPA decides, okay, what can we do with these powers? And the president decides, here's how much funding you're going to have to do certain powers. The president can ultimately decide. That's what Trump did back when he first got elected. He defunded the EPA by a lot. They have a allotted budget, but like he just says no, you can't focus on these regulations.
Mm-hmm.
He has that power, even though they were assigned that money. He can say nope, you're not going to use it. So. Yes, you still have to follow it because it's the executive branch. They're there to enforce their own rules and policies. So, anyways, no, but it's so after 2016, cars their fuel efficiency is really because like if you buy a car from 2002 and 2016, the mileage, is really not that. There really isn't that big of a difference. Look at mine. It's a 2000. It's a 2002. What?
Go ahead.
It's a 2002, and it gets 18 miles to the gallon. That's 2 miles.
Oh, then what do you have to say about my Honda, my Focus? My Focus had like 20 some odd miles a gallon. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever got 30. That was a 2010. 2015 Honda blew it out of the water.
Well, okay, but what was a 2010 Honda getting? Where the Honda's already efficient to begin with.
I didn't have a 2010 Honda.
Well, yeah, but that's my question, though. You're not comparing the same.
Well, you were just saying cars in general. So I was using cars in general.
True, but like because like. But they have gotten the efficiency has increased since 2016 by a lot, a lot more than the previous 8 years. So there's that.
2006 car gets 18 city and 23 or 4 highway.
What's yours?
2006 Pontiac G6.
Yeah, see, every brand's a little different. So that's already better than the Ford. So anything freaking Ford made was getting better than whatever Ford was producing back then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that Volkswagen thing we drove had such great mileage.
It did have really good mileage.
So, but it's just foreign made. They were under stricter fuel regulations than the U.S. is anyway.
Pontiac is GM.
Oh, that's right. Pontiac is GM. Well, I guess it's also a smaller car, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
big
other
motor.
thing with the Edge. It has the same motor as the Escape, and so you just it's the same power output. No, but that 2001 Escape was, God, that was a lot of fun. He let me drive it by myself, and so I just freaking floored it. Oh my! Crazy was, I pushed it up to the RPMs I would normally push up my truck. It's about 3,000 RPMs when I'm accelerating, and I'm just like, it had some get up and go. I got back and I looked at the salesman and I went, I know it's a 4-cylinder, but I could have swore it was a 6 that I was already driving. You could have told me it was a 6, and I would have believed you. I guess I wonder. It's weird because the 2.5 liter I don't think is any more fuel efficient in the Edges than the 2 liter. It's actually, I think it might have been, maybe it was. I don't know. I know in the Escape it wasn't. The 2 liter was like, the 2 liter was the second most efficient, followed by the 1.5 liter. But our uncle says the 1.5 liter is not a good engine. So
Let me know what salesman you had after the.
what?
Let me know what salesman you had after the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I told him, hey, here's what I want. He's like, all right, I'll look around. I get there, and he's like, hey, I've got something you might want. And I'm like, all right. It's a really great Carfax. It had one owner. Basically, the dealership bought it back when it was new. It sat on the lot for 2 months. Then this old couple bought it, and they drove it from basically a few hundred miles from I think it had I had the Carfax on the table, but it had like a few hundred miles on it, and they drove it to 52,000 miles from 2016 to now. And they were pretty religious about taking it in. They put new tires on it. There was a rattling sound in the transmission. Now the transmission housing, that's what the Carfax says. Now apparently that was a recall. The Carfax doesn't register as a recall, but he says that was a recall notice, and so that was taken care of. And the other and if any other recalls were on it, they took care of that apparently. Yeah. But they were very religious. Every 5,000 miles, it was in for an oil change and a service. So
it's a 1652. Was it blue certified then?
It was blue certified, yeah.
Okay.
He was just like, he basically just got out of certification because it wasn't there the day. He was like, it wasn't there the day before. Like it just gotten out of the shop.
Yeah, it probably came through our place
4 days ago.
Last week. Oh.
He said yesterday they'd gotten it 4 days before I drove it.
Huh.
So I guess we'll see what Dad says when he drives it Tuesday. But so Phil, this trip is going to be pretty expensive. But here's the thing about the next one, though. Now we don't have to worry about a rental. Even though it's worse mileage, it's not as bad as my truck. And we still get all that nice space.
Yeah.
So it'll be better than it's still going to be better than a rental. Honest to God, I think my truck would probably still be better than almost be better than the rental. Not by much, but almost. Because rental's expensive. It's
$60 a day?
Huh?
$60 a day, unlimited miles? No, I don't think it's that bad.
I don't know.
It's a lot better than putting all that miles on your car.
I mean, true, but I don't know.
You're gonna put 4,800 miles on it. That's an oil change.
So be it. I can't wait for that next summer. I'm gonna take it in, because I'm assuming you buy it through them, you get oil changes. I don't. I'm probably. It's gonna say free, but I'm sure it's not.
Free oil changes?
I just said probably not. But that'd be funny on the Carfax. What?
You might maybe get a couple for free. But...
Yeah, but no, it'd be funny as sin though. You take it in this day, changes the oil. 2 weeks later, another oil change. What? It put 5,000 miles on in 2 weeks? Yes. Had to be done. No, I would rather put.
It doesn't have to be done.
I would rather put 5,000 miles on than spend an egregious amount of money. In my opinion, anyways. In my opinion. How the hell are we at 30 minutes? What the hell have we even talked about?
Your car.
A lot of things.
That's, yeah. And the first 10 minutes, I don't know what we talked about. Oh, YouTube. YouTube. I was hoping we'd talk about something else, but, you know, I was hoping one of you two would bring something up, but I guess not.
Talked about YouTube Analytics.
What?
We
talked about YouTube Analytics.
Well, yeah, that was the first 13 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the last 20 have been the car. But it is the most prevalent part of my life. I guess, Phil, we'll do one more discussion. And then we'll end it here. How I guess we can ask, how has your car been treating you, your new one?
That's fine.
Does it have any...
Point A to point B.
It's what?
Gets me point A to point B.
Does it have any more bells and whistles than your old car?
Yeah, it does. Well, it's 2018, so it has all that lane assist and.
Oh, it does have lane
cruise
assist.
control. It does, yeah.
Okay.
I don't need it, but it has it. I keep it off because
I was gonna say
I found it annoying in the last car.
Right. I have
every once in a while it'll catch a line that isn't like quite as far in and starts buzzing.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing, right? Like it would, like sometimes it wouldn't think like you're in the lane because it would think like the edge of the road or something. And it get confused, and then it'd start beeping at you, move over, and it's like I'm in the center of the damn lane. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Old technology. You have to get like the brand new ones that are better.
that was on the Volkswagen.
Oh, okay. I guess
I haven't turned it on in my car because of that.
It must come down to the brand then. See,
that was on the 2028 Volkswagen.
So we'll see. That's the big thing why people, people talk about, it's autopilot, quote unquote, but it is
adaptive cruise control is what they call it.
Yeah. But it's but like, think about it though. Think about how much further, because it doesn't have the problems with the freaking lines like that does. Not to my knowledge, anyways. You would hear about that. Anything with Tesla, there's a problem. It makes national freaking news. So if there was a problem like that, you would hear about it. But there isn't. But they're the same year of car, right?
Well, that's like Mom's Mazda. The lane assist it doesn't do that.
Yeah, so Volkswagen's algorithms are just behind other brands.
Yeah.
It's possible.
It did a decent job. It's just that there's some spots on the path that I take to work. It'd always be the same curve, too. It's always the same curve, and I don't know why, but it just gets confused.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, I thought we were talking about the Eclipse trick, but you're talking about just your going to work in general.
No, the Eclipse trip was on the interstate. It doesn't care on the interstate. I'm talking about driving to and from work.
Oh, well, I was also thinking when we were up in the Ozarks on those twisty-ass roads.
Yeah, we were still, like, on a highway. They clearly marked lane. I didn't notice anything on there.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you said it
was when I was driving to and from work.
Okay.
And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, because I thought it was fighting you up in the Ozarks. because Kyle was bitching the entire time about, why are you taking the turns like this?
He always does that.
Yeah.
No, that was because all the hills were just unexpected. You know, I was trying to keep traffic moving. I didn't want to go 20 miles an hour.
Right. I didn't have any problems.
He always complained. I think I don't know if it's just the back seat. I don't know what the deal is. I think it's the fact that the driver and passenger, you know, they're up front. They can anticipate the turn versus, you know, being in the back seat, looking out the window, and then all of a sudden the turns come unexpected.
I think
it's more of a psychological thing.
Right. We need a dash camera that feeds to the back seat to like a screen. That way he can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, here you go, stare into the screen. Although, it's going to have a delay, and it might make it worse. It might make him nauseous.
That's funny.
More nauseous than he already would be. Because that lag is nasty. I don't know, there's a William Osmond video where they drove a car with real life lag.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's an old one. I haven't seen it forever. I should rewatch it at some point today.
No, I like the one that it was, how little do you need on a car for it to be a car?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. They cut a car in half.
How much shit do we need on this? Do we actually need on this car? You know, honestly, I don't think we need the whole back half of the car chopped off.
Well, yeah, and then they just drove it up to a cop and says, this is street legal.
Yeah.
But you know what was crazy was the half. Yeah, and what the funny part was, the half car was more street legal than the other car because what was
brake lights or something, right?
What?
Something. No, it wasn't. They did something on it, and it was like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, something that they did. It was something they did on the other car that the cop was like, no, you can't do that. But somehow the half car was perfectly fine because they tried to get two different cars, two of the same cars, but I think they were ever so slightly different, which is why they were able to cut it in half. But no, that's a crazy video. What's the bare minimum you need to drive a car? I will say I think you need back tires
until it's a motorcycle. You can just keep taking off everything, you know. Motorcycle is just a seat on top of an engine.
And a motorcycle has one too many wheels. All you really need is a wheel.
It's like,
a mono wheel.
A unibike.
I mean, you've seen one wheel. That's the bare minimum. A motor and a wheel. You don't even need a way to steer it. You just lean.
I put it on a ball, like the Dyson vacuum, so it's like a 0-point turn.
Oh my God! Can you? Oh my God! How does that? See, I remember watching like concept videos a long time ago of cars where the wheels were gonna be giant balls, and I always, you know, at the time I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But now I think about it, how do you? How does that cancel out your forward momentum when you go to shift to another lane?
What do you mean?
Well, because, like, you know, the motors can tell it to go sideways. Like, it can it could stop all... That tire it could stop all the forward momentum and go left. Instead, you know, as it should go in a diagonal. But, like, they showed it just doing this. And, like, moving in, like, straight lines instead of diagonals and curves. And
hey, you lean with your body.
Well, no. Well, no, your concept would be fine. I don't know those ball concepts. I was just like, how does that work? You're just gonna cancel out all your forward momentum and just go sideways? It was such a stupid thing because it was basically the whole point was so you could parallel park easier. and change lanes.
Oh, okay. I got what you're saying. Yeah.
And change lanes better. But no, yeah, realistically, yeah, if you just put a ball and somehow power the ball, that's all you need. Then you can just lean for whatever direction you need to go.
Yeah, just strap your seat on top of an engine and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. We got
a new video idea.
I mean, yeah, you know, it's like that's literally what it. If you put a seat strapped to an engine, put wings on it, it's an F-35. Put wheels on it, and it's a motorcycle.
Put wings on it, it's an F-35. I think we're missing a few things. Wait a minute. How does it? No, you have a glider. You have a glider. You need a.
Glider doesn't need an engine.
What?
Glider doesn't need an engine.
Well, yeah, but it's not an F-35 because once you get off the ground, it only has momentum. It doesn't have. It's gonna land. There's nothing. There's no powered flight.
It has an engine.
Well, okay, but like
the engine's producing the thrust.
Rotary force, not air force.
Yeah, it was powering the tires.
Yeah.
I don't think we can. I don't think we can convert a car engine. I don't think we can. I don't think car exhaust is powerful enough to power a plane.
I think you're underestimating the power of combustion engines.
No, I mean, if we put a propeller on the output instead of a wheel, yeah, we could take off, no problems.
No, not a propeller. I'm talking like a jet. I think could power a jet engine.
You know how a jet engine works?
You can power it with just a little bit of gasoline, and you're off to the races.
This is the guy that works on airplanes. I'm genuinely concerned.
I'm more than qualified to speak on this. Thank you for putting my qualifications out there.
Yeah, but now I'm beginning to be concerned about your qualifications.
Yeah. We're gonna start hearing news. Work being
now,
done.
granted, he works on the batteries, and now he's just in the calibration lab. So, like, you know, he's not working on the engines. For all he knows, that battery powers a normal car engine.
I work on the test cells for the engine.
Yeah, see, he doesn't know what the engine looks like. For all he knows,
I sure do. I work on the machine that's used to test the engine.
Oh, the machine to test the machine. Oh, great. I've been making the joke. Anyways. Oh man, how that? Okay. Back. We gotta cycle back. So hold on. We gotta cycle back. So we got onto the William Osmond video about driving with lag because we were talking about your brother in the back seat.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about lane assist. Because we were talking about how is your car? There we go. What fucked up line of logic was that? My God. I asked you, how's your car? Ends up on fundamental airplane design.
So?
That's not a normal line.
How conversations work.
Do you not know how my brain works? We go down, you jump in one rabbit hole, you end up on the complete opposite side of the land.
I know. It's terrifying. At some point...
there are holes within holes.
There's holes within...
That's what is a hole in a hole.
You know, your rabbit holes are...
Do you have 10 minutes?
Your rabbit holes approach a singularity, and when you come out at singularity, you can be...
there is no singularity, my friend. It is a hole within a hole around another hole.
I think that defines...
There is no single hole.
I think that defines a singularity.
The singularity would be the single point to which it all converges. There is no convergent point.
So it's a labyrinth.
Yeah, more or less.
More or less. There are many paths and many exits. And many of those paths lead you to many different exits.
But they all do not lead to the same.
Yeah. Isn't that terrifying?
No.
No, it's not. Anyways. Is there anything else that anybody needs to talk about? We're at the 50-minute mark. Speak now if ever hold your peace.
I think I've talked more than enough, actually.
I'm good.
I wish I could undo the last 50 minutes, but no.
Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New podcast every Friday, noon, Central Time. We're actually coming up on probably an empty week because of our trip to California. And good night.